Hey guys, we're here with my boy Dylan, who just finished top 16 at the North American Remote Duel YCS with Sky Striker. Big congrats to you. Obviously, you're a pretty accomplished striker player. How are you feeling the deck for this format?
I think it with the rise of like the runic decks, and like other matchups, and I don't think any deck this format is particularly great. So I think this deck is good enough. And I think going second, you can break a lot of decks boards. Kashtira, obviously, if you read my future match in top 16, is a very rough matchup. But overall, I think the deck's completely fine. I think it's a lot in the pilot as well and your matchups. But overall, I think the deck's very playable. We have two engage, and Thrust is a really broken card. So
Amazing. Well, before we continue, you want to do some shoutouts?
for sure. So first of all, shout outs to you, James. Known you since you started YouTube, and just very proud of you in general. Big shout outs to my girlfriend Chloe, Angus, Alex, Ray, Sosa, Knock, Xavier, Benny, Mark, Gannon, Alec, Luch, Milano, Drew, Jake, my dad, and special shout outs to Ryan Yu for basically building my deck for me, as he has done for the last little while. And special shout outs to Sebastian Todd and Josh Kirby for being my number one fanboys.
Awesome. Well, yeah, let's get right to the deck list.
Okay, so for the main deck, for monsters, it's 3 Ash. It's the like even though we go second, it's just so impactful against some decks where you just have to main it. And against a lot of matchups, it's like not even a bad 6 card. Because like going second, they can't chain block Fountain. So it's like not that bad. Against Lab, it's just insane. It's just a really good card. I'm not really gonna explain Ash too much. Um, Striker cards, 3 Ray and Rose. Shout outs to Vivian. Um, I feel like this is really standard. You have to play this for the OTK as much as I hate drawing it. It makes the deck a lot better, and it puts damage really easy with linkage, so you kind of have to play this. Then for the, I'll just show like all the striker cards. 3 Widow, 3 Linkage. This card is insane. It's literally like a custom card. 2 Engage, welcome back. 2 Afterburner, 2 Multi-Roll, 2 Area Zero, and then I played 1 Shark Cannon, 1 Hornet Drones. I might play a third multi-roll going forward. Ryan and I talked about it, but 2 is good for me. And if you're going second, like you don't really ever want to see multiples unless it's really high impact or engine. So multi-roll at 2 is fine for me. I didn't really miss it. Maybe a second Shark Cannon because it's really strong against every deck in the format right now besides Cash, but I thought this was really good. I didn't need any more, didn't need any less. Then for the rest of my spells, the best card in my deck all weekend was Thrust. It just literally searches Engage or anything you need. It's just such an insane card. Puts a spell in the grave, and it just makes the deck so much more powerful, which is what you need. To go with it, I played 2 Talents. So this is really good in this deck. Going second, if you break their board, then you rip their hand for follow-up. It's huge. Drawing 2 is huge. Taking control of a monster, especially like a Rise Heart, right? So this card's really good.
And for
I played 2
Thrust,
Lightning Storm.
I
Oh,
believe
sorry.
you mentioned like a kind of cool interaction with like linkage just to be able to get access to engage.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, if you're feeling nice and your opponent doesn't really have anything, like if they do something to you, you can thrust set engage. Like if they ash you on something, you can thrust set engage and then linkage send engage and then Kagari add back the engage, which is kind of cool. And I play a lot of really good targets for this post side as well. But the card's just insane. Like literally the best card in my deck. Then 2 Lightning Storm. Like I said, we are blinding second. I didn't play any other real board breakers besides this card because these cards are so insane, and your striker cards in general deal with boards so well. Like you're just really, it's really easy to pick apart boards, right? So you only need to see like really maybe one big blowout card to break a board. And with like your anchors and your engages and stuff, your blowouts are mostly going to resolve. And then I played 2 Pot of Desires. It's Pot of Greed. I don't know why you wouldn't play this card. Then for the 1-up spells, I did main the Duster. It's just a really good search target for Thrust, and drawing it is really nice. Upstart, Rhoda, Terraforming, you have to play these cards. It's a striker deck. Going forward, I might cut Upstart just because going second, like you always want live cards, and this doesn't really do anything. It's okay to trigger a Rise Heart, but maybe going forward, I cut this. Then the last spell in my deck was just Call By. Call By was really good. It's really good against like all the For Hire and the Live Twin deck. It's good against Dragon Link when you go second on Seal. It's just good against a bunch of things, and it stops like when you go first or something. It stops Shifter. Like if they force you first, you can hit this on Shifter or Ogre or Ash. It's just a really good generic card. Then I just played 3 Imperm for my traps. It's a good. It's good in your hand or as a 6 card. Just really good in general. Doesn't play any talents. And like a lot of people, like they'll kaiju me, and then they won't respect an Imperm because they just think I have anchor sets. So that's kind of nice too.
How many cards
And
in the
that's
main?
40 cards.
Awesome.
Yeah, 40 cards. You definitely in this deck should not be playing more than 40. Um, like you need to see really high impact and you want to see your good cards. So 40 makes it so that you'll see like thrust and engage and talents and stuff like that going second, right? So then for the extra deck, shout outs to DFC, you know who you are. 3 Kagari. So shout outs to Ryan Yu for the best Kagari and Kareem Sewidan for the second one. The fact that this card is at 3 is actually why I think this deck is a real contender right now, because this card is insane. And getting an add back every single turn is absolutely ridiculous. Then 3 Shiz. Because I'm going second, I honestly rarely go into 3, but there's a card on my side that works really well with this at 3, so I decided to play 3. Then I played 2 Hayate and 2 Zeke, along with the Kana. I didn't play the new striker card. I probably should have. Ryan and I were just making the deck list and we kind of forgot about it. It doesn't really it doesn't really come up like all that much, but you should probably just cut a Zeke and play that instead. Yeah. And then for my flex spots, I played Access Code just in case you need to get over something really big and going for an OTK or like popping a board. It's good. I did it like once or twice. It's fine. Phoenix, this is good. It outed an anti-spell for me, which is really nice. Dark is just randomly good, and Link climbing into the Access Code, right? So it's just good. And then Zeus for when you take the Arise Heart or anything, honestly, if you play against Pearly or something like that, just really strong. That's 15. Then for the side deck, the only monster I sided was 3 Ghost Spell. This card, honestly, I didn't play that many matchups where it was like really all that insane. But it was really good in my top 32 match. And it was clutch a couple of times, but you need this in the side deck for Labyrinth. It's just a blowout against them. So having 3 of it is really good. And then obviously against like Runic decks, it hits Fountain, and against random decks, like it's just really strong, right? So I like 3 Bell. I played 2 Cosmic. This was to respect Anti-Spell, a good going second card. A lot of decks right now, like their end board, they'll have like 1 spell trap in play, especially against like Dragon. Hitting the regain or the beast is like really strong. Also against like Despa, if you play it, like you go second and you hit the Brandon in red, it's really strong. So this was really good. And then obviously it's Fountain, right? It's for Fountain. So this was good. I sided a lot of traps because I figured post side my opponent would make me go first. So I'll D-Barrier. Brandon is a very bad matchup for this deck because of the Albion. Yeah. The Sanctifier card is a really bad matchup. And they just put a lot of beaters. So you need win buttons against that deck. So D-Barrier I think should be standard. And then for the kind of cool traps I played 3 Water, 2 Karmakin, and 2 Trap Trick. So I guess this is kind of spicy for the side deck. So I figured post like game 1, like game 2, my opponent's definitely making me start because Striker like really is not that good going first. And this card is an absolute blowout against so many decks in the meta. Won me my top 32 match. It's really good going first or second. So even if they choose to go first, it's still a really solid card to have going second. And it just makes a lot of the matchups way easier that are really bad matchups. Like this card is insane against Kashtira as well. So I really like this. And then this card was really insane. I want to shout out my friend Abel. He played this at a regional, and I really liked it. The coolest kind of thing, the reason I played like Trap Trick as well, is because if you open these, this card says, by the way, you tribute a Water, and then you look at your opponent's hand and discard a card. So it's like
a pointer,
it's like thrust.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pointer, but they don't get the card back, right?
Right.
And like you don't really care about losing your link because you're getting engage anyway. And if you're going first against a deck, like they're probably gonna clear your Ray or something anyway. So getting rid of your Shiz to rip them, like their Feather Duster, their Cosmic, or their Extender is like way better. And what's really cool is if you open two of this and linkage, you can tribute the shiz and then chain linkage, sending the one of this, and then you can activate this, send the other shiz. So you rip two cards, which is really cool if you open linkage. I did that once, and my opponent was not very happy. That's really good. And the other thing I like about Trap Trick in this a lot is most of the time the only forms of like spell trap removal people are playing are Cosmic and Duster. So if you have these two set and you go draw phase this, tribute your link, they're probably gonna chain Cosmic, target this, and then you chain Trap Trick. Then they're down to 4 cards, and you just set any other trap you want. So it was really good. It was cute in the side for when I'm forced to go first, just because I thought, especially as I got further into Top Cut, that people would make me do that. So that was really solid.
Awesome. Well, that was amazing. Thank you so much for the profile again. Huge congrats on that top 16 finish. Any other final words before we end off?
No, thank you so much for having me on the channel, and big shout outs to my dad.
Awesome. Thank you.